Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is...
Brian, hello, David.
Hey, Brian. How goes
Hey,
it?
David. Oh, we're just watching the good old Lower Decks again, which is still a very good show. Unlike a lot of other shows nowadays that we watch, like the total tangent off this just came off the dome that Star Wars thing's not doing good, huh?
Oh, the Acolyte.
Yeah, the Acolyte, that's not doing good.
The
But we're not
Schlacolyte.
here to talk about that because that show sucks and Star Wars sucks and everything about Star Wars sucks. Who's in control of Star Wars? They suck too. I don't know who it is
Kathleen
anymore.
Kennedy. And
Still the same person? She
Dave
sucks.
Filoni. She sucks, yeah.
I don't remember him, but he sucks too. Anyway, David, Lower Decks. It's still coming in. It's still coming in hot. Still coming in fresh. Still more characters, but like still bringing back characters. It's a great show, David. What are you gonna rate? I feel like it's gonna be a pretty good one.
Oh, man, this is a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of... This was a beautiful season of Lower Decks. Lots of great callbacks. I just can't imagine watching the show as a blank slate as you are to all the things Star Trek. Because it's such a treasure trove of like references for me.
Well, I got probably none of them.
Yeah, probably none of them. So
But that also just shows how good the show is because I don't know anything about anything and I still like the show.
yeah,
And you know everything about the show, more than you probably should, and you still like the show.
yeah, it's it's wild actually. It's really wild that like we both love the show. And I know so much about Star Trek and I'm getting, oh yeah, I see what they're doing there. I see what they're doing there. And you're just like, I have no idea what any of this is, but it's still good. I'm like, that's amazing that the show's written so well that people who are not fans and people who are fans enjoy it just the same. And what was your number for this season of Lower Decks?
I was gonna give it a 9. Thought about it last night when I finished it. Giving it a 9. What I really like about the show is that like sure there's kind of like a overarching story kind of going on, but like it doesn't feel like it matters because it feels like each episode is like self-contained into like its like own I don't know, like own thing. It's like the stakes also aren't like as high because it's a cartoon, so they'll do like some crazy wacky stuff and then they'll like resolve it at the end by some sure you like there was one episode where one guy got like his leg cut off and they're just like, "Oh, okay, whatever, let's just move on." And then when you'll get a new foot when you get back on the boat or no boat.
We'll just
Ship.
regrow it.
Yeah, we'll just re-go. It's not a big deal. Nobody's freaking out because it doesn't feel. It's just fun. It doesn't. You don't need to like. I'm sure there are people that will like super analyze it, but you just go, you have fun with it, and then you can move on. You move on.
I mean, they do some sort of leg replacement prosthesis thing in Star Trek because we had an episode where Nog, the Grand Nagus' son. Remember the Grand Nagus from episode... I think it was episode 6, Path Ferengi's Heart Place.
I watched 7 episodes in a row. I don't.
The guy with the ears, the guy with the really big ears.
Yes,
And
yeah.
he was talking with the admirals, and they were like trying to like swindle each other, and
Yes.
yeah. So his son actually got his leg cut off, or had his leg amputated, and had a new one made or regrown. We didn't really actually see like what they did with it. We just saw him again later, and he had his leg back. So
Yeah, well, that's what I like about it. It's not like everything has this. Yeah, you're not. I don't watch this show because I want like. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch the show because there's like a deep meaning to it or there's like this crazy story. I just watching it because it's fun. It's just a fun show to watch for me.
well,
I still like this.
that's also why I really like Deep Space Nine, because Deep Space Nine, starting in season 3, really in 4, going down through the rest of the season, you got like the strong overarching thread of the Dominion War, but each episode still feels individual. Like you could watch them at random and still enjoy them just the same, just like Lower Decks. Because I mean, there's a thread.
Yeah,
but
you literally can. I don't know if it would be affected like at all. I mean, maybe a little, maybe very small amount, but you really could just watch any of them in order. It wouldn't matter.
yeah, I mean,
Except maybe the last two.
Yeah, I mean the last two are strong two-parter. You would probably
Yeah,
need
it's
to
really
watch.
just a 2-part episode.
Yeah, it was a two-part episode, but I mean like Deep Space Nine does that too, where like there's a strong, there's the overall arc, there's the thread, but each individual episode and those can be watched on their own more or less, and you're pretty good.
Yeah.
This is
Well, it's like
this is like right up there with Deep Space Nine. Is probably like one of some of my favorite Star Trek because they've figured it out how to do the arc, the season long arc, or multiple seasons long arc. Because I mean, one and two were basically a single long arc with the Packlets.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and and
now
now we've got the Nick Locarno arc, which is a whole thing to talk about. But let's just kind of like work through the season episode by episode. So
oh sure. Oh gosh.
this
uh
the
I don't
first
know what
episode.
happened. You're gonna have to tell me what kind of like what happened in each episode. I
So
literally, because I was
it all blended
what my
together
plan
in your
was.
head.
Well, what happened was I texted you earlier in the week and I was like, "What episode were you on?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm on like 7 or something." I was like, I didn't even start yet." So it's like, "Oh no, I forgot. Like the weekend's coming up. I gotta watch this." So then I watched like one episode that evening, and then I watched the episode the next evening, and then last night I just watched like 7 in a row, and I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I didn't even want it to like end. I was just like, let's just keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. I'm not getting tired of this. Keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. This is good. This is good stuff. So the first episode is Two Vix. This is a play on words of Two Vix. So the original Two Vix was spelled Tuvix, so this is spelled Twovix because it's kind of a sequel to Two Vix, where they start merging characters together via the transporter.
Yes.
And
Wait,
there's so many callbacks to so many different Voyager episodes. You've got like Chaotica, the black and white hologram. You've got the horny Irish guy hologram. You've you've got the macro viruses, those things that are flying around that are like it's bonkers. Like so many like call outs to Voyager episodes.
how many callouts like per? Not even per. Like overall, how many other like over like how many things am I missing?
So many things. Like there's like an episode or two that I would consider like required watching before. I kind of wanted to give you episodes to watch as extra homework to like fill out these things. Most of them aren't essential. I really want you to watch the episode of Next Generation called Lower Decks, which is what the show is named after of, and we get the mention of.
Wait, this whole show's named after an episode?
Yeah. Well,
That's funny.
in the second to last episode of the season, the inner fight. Mariner is fighting with the Klingon, and he talks about her friend who died, the Cardassians,
Mm-hmm.
who was her friend in the academy. So she was like the star of the lower deck. So it was a whole episode about lower deckers, but on next gen, and you still had your main characters, but she ends up dying, like Mariner says, and that is a fantastic episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of the Next Generation. It's such a solid show, so I would highly recommend watching that to give you insight into that character and what happened to her. And it's a fantastic standalone episode. Um, that one, and then like a couple Voyager episodes, like watching the original Tuvix because like they kept talking about Janeway. She totally killed Tuvix. They kept
Totally
talking.
killed
They kept talking about how and then they just like got them all. They all turned into a giant meatball of people, and
Yeah,
they
a
had
big
to like
meatball person.
separate them. It's like, oh
One by
well,
one.
they're no longer sentient. It's no longer sentient now since they're just a giant blob of meat.
Yeah, and that's that. Then is I can't remember. Is Tendi still your favorite character?
Tendi is still my favorite character, and we finally got to go to Orion. I guess we did get to go to Orion last season, but we actually got like actual Tendi story in this, not just some other random Orions.
What? Okay, spoilers. Since we're talking about Tendi now, what happened in that last episode when she's like finally the show ends with her like being beamed off to another
Her,
uh,
her sister,
uh
her sister ship.
yeah, but why'd she have that? Why'd she look like she's like gonna go evil now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, Orions are always kind of like bad guys in Star Trek, so like maybe she's been evil all along. And because the thing is, because her whole shtick has been that Orions aren't always like that. She's trying to like say that not all Orions are bad. Maybe she is like the final boss of the entire show.
Go.
Could be like
I kind of hope
that would.
that's not the case.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I don't know if I would like that as much. I understand, like you just mentioned the history of them, but like none of the show just kind of throws that in there. That has not been built up in her character like at all. And now in the last episode, she just kind of
it hasn't been built
like
up in our
evil now.
character, but we also didn't learn anything about her character until this season.
That's true, but there was no like hints. There's no hints or anything that she's like doing anything nefarious.
No,
Like
there's not.
they should have shown like, oh, maybe she like reaches out to like her crime partner or whatever, and they start like there's a quick conversation there. So it's like we the audience know that like something's going on. We don't really know, but it feels weird. Like 4 seasons in, then all of a sudden there's two frames of her just kind of looking evil. I don't know. We're speculating.
I mean, honestly, I hope she's not evil because I really like Tindy as a character, and I kind of don't want her to end up being a bad guy. I think that would probably be the biggest misstep of the show if they decide to just turn one of our core main characters evil. But
Yeah. Because it seems
also,
like forced. It would seem forced. Like it wasn't in her character at all.
it's in her race being an Orion.
Yeah, I don't know. It still doesn't sit with me right. I won't like the show as much if that's where they go.
I honestly hope they don't. But also, we have Talin, the Vulcan, as that other female crew member for
Yeah,
to round out the four. So I mean,
we're just gonna replace
hopefully
her.
that won't. I mean, either they're just going to replace her. I don't think they're. She's definitely gonna have to come back because otherwise, well, what's that evil look for? And there's something else at play. That's like the teaser for next season. So
Yeah.
and the next season is going to be the last one from all reports. So
Unfortunately.
that is sad because I absolutely love this show.
Who runs the show? Like, are they not hitting? Is it just because we don't know if it was canceled or not, just not renewed yet, right?
I I honestly don't know what the difference is between being canceled and not renewed.
Well, see,
The outcome is the same.
my thought is that if it's not renewed, maybe they're waiting to get like the numbers they need to like to renew it. If it's canceled, that means it's like dead. If it's renewed, it feels like there's like a possibility like once they hit like X amount of people watch it or whatever, then maybe there'll be more. I'm not really sure.
So I just looked up is Lower Decks canceled. So it says Star Trek
Live
Lower Decks has
investigation.
been renewed for its fourth season and will end after its upcoming fifth season. The animated season will be canceled while Star Trek has been renewed. So I mean, will be canceled as like I mean that
Wait,
is I
wait,
guess
they said wait, what? You just said it will be canceled and renewed?
Strange New Worlds, the Captain Pike show, is being
Oh,
renewed.
okay. So,
And
wait, so this one's
also
being canceled?
And also, you should, I guess, but I mean, the way it's
Uh,
worded is it means like the same thing. It will be canceled while Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be renewed. So, I mean, like, if they're not renewing it, they're canceling it. I mean, it's the same. To me, that's the same thing. Not renewing it is canceling.
in most cases, but renewed still has that like we could still bring it back. Canceled is it doesn't come back.
Yeah, well,
But maybe they'll just finish the story and they won't like do what like The Boys does and just like keep going season after season. Maybe we'll have a happy ever after ending with season 5.
maybe it'll be,
No, there won't be a reason.
which is why I'm speculating that maybe Tendy's the big bad for the entire show because we get no backstory on her
Sure.
for season one, season two, and season three. We get like barely a hint in season three. We actually have like actual legitimate backstory on her now that she's one of the royal crime families of
Yeah.
Orion. So she's high up there. Everyone stops in their tracks for her.
It just can't. It would
Because
just. Oh man, I hope they don't do that. It's gonna. I'm really not gonna like the. I won't like the show as much if they do that. That's just
I
gonna suck. It
I
just feels like it's like we're out of ideas. Let's just tack on to make her the bad guy.
I mean
That's what it feels like to me.
I hope not because I mean I was really mad that they had an Orion woman bad guy in Discovery season 4, and like she was like supposedly trying to make peace with the Federation. They just ended up killing her anyway. I'm just like, what was the whole point of you trying to make? I don't know. It just it just felt forced. Like she could have been a recurring bad guy like Gul Dukat, but they just
Yeah,
like
but don't do that.
they just like introduced her and killed her in the same season, and I'm like, oh well, that was
Well, there goes that one.
that seems
That's
pointless.
that's you get hit with like the Marvel syndrome thing where it's like this is the
This
villain of the movie,
this is
villain
the
of the
villain
week.
of the season, yeah, and then we're
Yeah,
just gonna kill him and move on to something else. It's just like, oh, okay,
please don't do that. So
okay,
I hope they don't. Maybe hopefully they have it written down and it doesn't feel like it's just like a tacked on. We need a villain type of thing to end the show, but I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe it will. For you, I understand that you say that like it's the race. The race is always like kind of weird like this, but like,
Well,
how am I supposed to know that?
I mean, I granted they should have done more Orion lore the entire show, but she always talks about being a pirate, and she keeps on saying not all Orions are pirates, but like that's why maybe she could be a bad guy because she's been trying to lean into that so hard that not all Orions are pirates.
Yeah, but there's
Because
like a
that's
lot of there's like a lot of wacky stuff that goes on. Her just saying she doesn't want to pirate doesn't really hold any grounds to me here, especially with my favorite episode, the one where they go to a zoo. There's just like a little rabbit thing, and it just like sucks bones. It's like this. It's just fun. It's like why.
Moopsie.
But none of this seems like it really matters all that much. So her saying she wants to be a pirate, it's like, oh, cool, I want to be a pirate too.
Oh, that was your favorite episode, the Moopsie episode.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode for sure.
That one was really
Yeah, I like
good.
that one.
I'd have to say my favorite episode is probably something borrowed, something green, because that's the episode we get all of Tindy's backstory, and Mariner keeps
Yeah.
getting randomly stabbed by thrown daggers, which is great.
Yep. Yep.
And then also I really liked the Parth Ferengi's Heart Place, which is also a Tindy heavy episode
Which which
where
one's
Tindy and Rutherford are pretending to be married,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
was
That was a
fun.
good one too. That was the one where Boimler just like watched the TV for like 40 years.
He just watched Ferengi soap operas with
Must have been
commercials.
some good. Must have been some good stuff.
Sluggo Cola, it makes you hot or whatever. They just lie to you. This is fantastic.
This is. Yeah, that was also a good episode. Did you have a least favorite episode? I don't know if I really necessarily disliked any of the. I guess if I had to pick one, it would be the. I don't even. I kind of zoned out for this one. It's the one that looks like a star that he like takes over the universe or whatever.
Oh, the Badgie episode.
I don't like Badgie.
I don't like Badgie either. Badgie kind of that would definitely be my least favorite episode. That
Dang,
is
you're copying me, man. We got the same thoughts on this show. I
we're
like that.
like we're zoning
We're-
in today. A few more
yeah,
a few Badgies more. Episode 7 was probably my least
yeah,
favorite episode. I really liked Caves, the one where they have all the stories about going into caves, because that's also just something. There's so many Star Trek episodes where they're just in random caves all the time, like because it's like a
yeah.
cheap set they can reuse. It's like this is a cave on this planet. This is a cave on this planet. There's so many Star Trek episodes with caves.
Man, even that's a callback, huh?
Everything in the show is a callback to at least one or more things. And then you had
So
the episode with the computer, with the evil computer and a peanut hamper. The evil
yeah,
computer's
yep,
voiced by Jeffrey Combs, so I mean
yep, yep.
he's a fantastic.
Well, that's a throwback to last season or the season before it or whatever.
Well,
They've been in the show
they've been in the
before.
show before, yeah. He's a
Yeah,
recurring character, but Jeffrey Combs also he's a recurring character in a lot of Star Trek shows. He was Shran in Enterprise, and he played 4 or 5 characters in uh,
you
Deep
know
Space Nine.
who the writers for this show are? They do they also write other Star Trek stuff? Because the writers on this show, if they're throwing this many things into it, they must really know Star Trek pretty well.
Well, Mike Mahan is the showrunner, and he wrote the first episode. Let's
Okay,
see,
so
did Mike Mahan
he
write the?
probably knows he probably knows what's going on in Star Trek.
Mike Mahan wrote episode 9, the inner fight. So I'm sure he consults on all of them because he's
Yeah.
obviously a super big Star Trek fan. Because that's the
You
reason.
have you have to be.
Well, that's the reason Lower Decks is good, is because it's definitely run by Star Trek fans. I mean, I know Alex Kurtzman is technically, a producer on it, but I feel like Alex Kurtzman has like zero input on the show because it is so
Well,
good.
he's the guy that's not good, right?
Alex
That
Kurtzman
guy.
is Alex Kurtzman is the Kathleen Kennedy of Star
Okay.
Trek. He is literal
Oh no.
he is actual cancer. So I feel like he's got almost nothing to do with this, just a name only. Then and Mike Mahan has got handpicked people that he works with. I mean, I'm assuming, but Mike Mahan is a true Star Trek fan. And this is the only Star Trek show that feels like Star Trek out of all of the new Star Trek.
Yeah,
Um,
especially since all the like callbacks and like references
so
and
good.
things you have to do. You just how like where do you just like you got to really know what's going on? It's just like, oh, let's insert X here.
Oh yeah,
Just for a callback. It means nothing. Nobody. There's gonna be like 8 people that notice, but like we're putting it in.
yeah, they've got so many callbacks. It's great. And I would suggest you watch the live action episodes of Strange New Worlds that is a crossover with the Lower Decks because they did reference it in the first episode.
Did they what they end up doing? Did they end up animating them? Because I remember you mentioned that was gonna happen,
Well,
or is it actually like the actors that voice act?
they had there's an animation part at the beginning and end, but it is the actual live action. It's Jack Quaid and Tawny. What are
Is that Mariner?
yeah, Tawny
Okay.
Newsome. Yeah, so it's actually them in a live act. It's so good. It's so good. It's 100% worth watching.
It's the best episode ever created.
It's the best episode of Strange New Worlds, hands down.
Oh man. Yeah. This show is just everything about it is just it's just entertaining. It's nice because a lot of shows that come out nowadays always have to be on this like epic grand scale, multi-year season lifetime of trying to enjoy.
And then trying to
And
raise the
then
stakes bigger and bigger every
yeah,
time. And
raise
it's
the
just like,
stakes.
oh my
It's
god,
like this the stakes
it's
don't
eye
feel any
rolling.
higher. Yeah, in this show, like if you watch season 1, episode 3 or whatever, the stakes are the same as like season 4, episode 5 or whatever. It's like it's still the everything just feels like we're just hanging out. We're just having fun. Nobody we're no it's not like we're escalating to like the whole universe blowing up or anything. Everything's always resolved mostly by the end of every episode, which is cool.
So we
I
have to
appreciate
talk about the overarching plot of the show because there would be a disservice to not talk about that. So
it. Yeah, start us off.
in almost every single episode, we have not all of them, but most episodes either have it at the beginning or the end. A random alien ship is has the lower decks, people talking on the ship, and then some mysterious starship shows up and shoots it with a light, presumably destroying the ships. But
Mhm.
none of the ships are actually destroyed. They're all captured, and all the people are beamed down to a planet that rains glass.
Yeah, which is that a normal thing too? The
No,
glass rain planet?
that's a silly lower decks thing. Although, like
Okay, cool.
people, theoretically, like there's like diamond rain on like Neptune or something. Like I don't like there are weird atmospheric conditions in our own
Yeah,
real
but this
life.
is just a lower decks, just like why not?
Why not? Why not have it rain glass?
It
Yeah,
was funny that it's like there was I think it was towards oh man, I don't know. I have no idea what episode it was, but Mariner was just like running through the like a forest with that one dude. I
the
don't know his
Klingon.
name.
That
Yeah.
was the ninth episode.
That's
Where
9?
well,
Okay.
because that's where she talks about her friend and why she wants to stay an ensign.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't remember I just don't know what everything
Right.
just blended together. So I thought I got a kick out of when they're just like running and she's just getting like stabbed with like glass, and then she gets to the end, she's like, God, this was annoying. It's like why not?
Why
I got
not?
a kick out of that.
So the bad guy ends up being Nick Locarno, which
Hmm?
means nothing to you, but he's in the same. They did a flashback to the episode where
Yeah.
but they animated
What's
it
up?
where that Nova Squad, they kind of give some backstory on him, so you know what happened. So that's another episode I would tell you to watch as homework because it directly ties into the season. Uh, from a story point, and then the episode Lower Decks. So I got to look up the name of the episode where Nick Locarno's in it. But Nick Locarno is played by Robert Duncan McNeil, who played Tom Paris, who is a major character on Voyager. They're basically the exact same character. Like from a personality wise, they both kind of got kicked out of Starfleet. They're both like kind of hotshot pilots, and they're played by the exact same actor, which is why you've got Rutherford and Boimler at the helm going, he looks just like Tom Paris, and Boimler's like, yeah, I don't see it. I'm like, he is exactly Tom Paris because he's played by the same actor.
Okay, that went full circle. I remember that part. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about.
They're played by they look exactly the same. Their backstory is more or less exactly the same. They're identical characters. So like it was always in my head canon that like he just changed his name, like that Tom Paris just
Okay.
changed his name to Nick Locarno, but it's not. They're actually two separate characters. This show destroys my head canon that I had for Nick Locarno and Tom Paris being the same character, because I always felt they should have been. But because like you have to pay the original writer who came up with the name, that's why they couldn't use Nick Locarno as the character Robert Downey Jr. played in Voyager, so they gave him a different name. So
Mm,
like there's like always that like TV bureaucracy
yeah.
stuff, where
Well, not everything's avoidable. Not everything's avoidable, but
but he's the bad guy of the season. He is, he's mad that he got kicked out of Starfleet and can't do anything, so he's trying to bring together his own coalition of elite pilots for Nova Fleet.
Nova Fleet.
Nova Fleet, and he wants to have his own fleet that's doing its
And
own
then,
thing, separate from all the other governments in Alien World.
what do you think is going to happen to them? Is Tendi going to take over? Is Tendi going to take over Nova Fleet?
Well, Nova Fleet doesn't exist anymore at the end.
I guess that's true.
But
She's gonna she's gonna create her
I
own
don't
Nova
know what
Fleet.
Tindy's
She's gonna
Tindy's
fall
end game
into
is.
his plans.
I really hope Tindy just comes back. Oh no, Nick Locarno died. He got
I
destroyed
no,
by
I know,
the
I know. I'm saying like she's gonna like continue on his like legacy.
Oh, maybe. I mean, who knows?
Well, it
I
just
hope
feels
not.
weird to just make her the villain for like what is she gonna? Oh man, I don't know. We'll talk about it next season.
I mean, I don't know if they're making it a villain. I hope they don't. Like we're just spitballing, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, he gets killed by the Genesis device. Like
yeah.
watching it, I mean, we got to get back into Deep Space Nine, so you'll understand the nickel and diming of the Ferengi the more you watch Deep Space Nine, because it's like, oh my god, there's a paywall for the deactivation code. Yes,
Is the Ferengi are the little elf guys?
yeah, they have the bald with the big ears.
Okay, yeah.
That's
I'm
the
still
planet.
working on
That's the planet.
memorizing all this stuff.
So Quark from Deep Space Nine, he's a Ferengi.
Okay. I thought Cork was the name of the race.
No, Quark is the name of the character from Deep
Okay.
Space Nine.
Okay.
My favorite character from Deep Space Nine. But so we've got Quark. We got to get back to Deep Space Nine. But literally, the Ferengi nickel and dime you for everything. Like whenever when you come into some other Ferengi's house, like you have to pay them like a slip of you just pay it to the house. Like they have idols they pray to, and they bribe the idol. They put latinum into the idol. Like everything is like extra to
Pay
sit
for everything.
to sit down at the Ministry of Finance. You got to pay to sit down. Like it's just everything is about profit with the Ferengi. So like them putting a paywall on the deactivation code was just 100% Ferengi.
It was peak Ferengi.
Yes.
I thought that was just a joke.
I mean, it was a joke, but also like it's
True. It's a true joke.
yeah, it's something Ferengi would 100% do.
Yeah. Lower decks, man.
I could totally see them doing that. But yeah, just all in all, a solid season. Like, and the Badgie episode, I would probably be the only thing that like brings this season down. I would say that's probably my least favorite episode, like a 7.
Yeah, I just don't like the character. I don't like Badgie. I just don't care about him. I don't care anything about what's going on with that character.
Well, also that we've had Badgie and like some other random character ascend to the koala godhood. Like that just like that's never been a thing before. I don't know what that's about. But we've had 2 characters in Lower Decks just ascend to godhood.
Well, sometimes that's just what you got to do in lower decks. Just like really just break everything.
Just have random characters turn into gods.
Exactly. That's definitely my least favorite. That's your least favorite. Which one was your favorite? The zoo one was my favorite. What was your favorite?
My favorite is it's a tie between something borrowed, something green. The episode where we get Tendy's looking for her sister. because that's the episode we get all the backstory on her, and then um the Parth Ferengi Heart Place, the episode where they're on the Ferengi homeworld.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
I mean, I like the Ferengi homeworld. We actually had Max Grodenchek come back and voice Nog. I mean Rom. So we got to hear Rom's voice, and also Chase Masterson. She came back and voiced Lita. It sounded just like So we had like some recurring Deep Space Nine characters, voicing their characters, and getting to watch some Ferengi TV with Boimler was great.
That was funny. The one another man, since I don't know specific episodes, I just know things. That one episode where Boimler, he was removing those like tubes and he was moving them because they were on the like Halo planet or whatever, where you have to. They were like rebooting the AI that kept the planet going.
Yeah.
And Boimler was like removing those tubes out of the building and bringing them outside. Then they were told to bring them back inside because he just was every time. I got a pretty good laugh out of like, okay, let me show you how to do it. And he like both legs, both arms, and he like twists it with his mouth.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you just gotta like do that. He's like, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna do it again just to make sure you guys got it. I got a kick out of that. That was my favorite part of that episode. I thought that was funny.
That's a great episode. There's several original series episodes where the world's run by some benevolent computer or some malevolent computer sometimes.
Yeah.
So you got that. That's definitely a Star Trek trope. It's cool to have a Halo world, a Ring world. We don't.
Is that a Star Trek thing, or are they just copying literally Halo?
I mean, Ring world isn't really is it a new thing? I mean, that's just technically a Dyson ring.
True.
I mean, they had a Dyson sphere in Next Generation, decades before Halo came out. So I mean, like this is a ring around a star is just technically a Dyson ring, or there's Dyson swarms, Dyson spheres. I mean, it's just when you're building a community around like a plant, when you're building a giant mega structure around some sort of Dyson thing. I think Halos is technically just it's self-sufficient, but I would imagine it's probably on the scale of a Dyson.
Well, they're not. Probably, I don't know. I'm not a Halo expert.
I mean,
I just know they're on Halos.
They're on Halos, yeah. They call them Halos, but I mean, like, it's. I mean, Halo didn't invent the idea either. It's been in other science fiction.
No, I mean it's probably 100 years old at this point, maybe more. Probably predates books because it's real. We're on one right now. That's it. We're on one. We're on a Halo right now.
We're on a Dyson ring.
You can't prove it yet. Flat Earth beat that.
That's what the flat earthers think. That's why they think there's land beyond Antarctica, because that's where the.
We're locked in. There's no way. I remember, man. Now we're gonna get a little bit sidetracked, but I remember when you showed me that like the flat Earth people believed that like there was like a big like mountain of like ice, and that's what Antarctica was.
Antarctica is a ring of ice. And
it's a ring
Antarctica, there is other continents and other land that the governments of the world don't want us to know about.
Yeah. Why though? Why would they even want to do? You know what? It's not worth it.
They don't want us to know we're living on a Dyson ring.
Because that would change our way of life. It would 100%. That would change it all.
Yeah. 100%. Yes. We don't subscribe to flat Earth theory, but I am fascinated by flat Earth theory. I love.
They have an excuse for everything. No matter how much evidence you like throw at these people, they're always like, "Well, if you take a ruler and I hold it out straight, it doesn't curve."
Oh my god! It's a ruler.
Oh man.
All
so
right.
yeah, Lower Decks. Would you recommend Lower Decks?
100%. Binge watch all 4 seasons of Lower Decks.
Easiest recommendation ever from both of us.
Mm-hmm. The first season's probably my least favorite overall because I felt like Mariner was overly cartoonized in the first season, but I feel like they mellowed her out a lot. Seasons 2 and 3, 4.
She's still my favorite
compared
character.
To how she was.
Always has been. Always will be.
Well, I love Orions, which is why I love Tendi. But I mean, I also really love Mariner and now after season 1, and then I always loved Boimler. Boimler's great.
Boimler's okay. He's like 4th place.
Oh, you like Rutherford better than
I
Boimler?
think I like Rutherford
I
more.
have to knock Rutherford down a peg because he invented Badgie. Badgie episodes are always the worst episodes.
They should go meta and just like lean into that as a joke.
Yeah. Well, actually, Rutherford's my fifth favorite because you get Talen, the Vulcan, who's pretty
Oh,
cool.
you like her over Rutherford? She's so boring. But then you're like, that's just how Vulcans are.
He's a
Oh
Vulcan.
man. Well, everybody go watch this. If you made it this far into the
Also,
podcast, I
Talen
imagine you
didn't
already
invent
watched it all.
Badgie.
What?
Talen didn't invent Badgie.
I mean, that points up in my book. The problem is she's just boring.
He's a
I don't
Vulcan.
understand humor. If she made the show, we wouldn't be watching it. How about that?
Yeah, that's true.
Huh?
That's true. Yeah,
True. See, there you
that's
go.
true.
She doesn't know no entertainment. Boom. Done. Tendy Thor. Not Tendy. You're the bad guy now. Go throw her in the trash.
Yeah, go kill Talen.
Go kill
That,
Talin. Then that's it. That's the whole story. That's it. That's all that needs to be done.
that's all we need.
Oh man.
Get rid
All
of
right.
Talen.
Well, go watch season. I'm sure you already have watched season 4 because we're very timely on these
We
podcasts
are
as normal.
very, very
I
timely.
think this came out like almost a year ago.
We will be slightly more timely on season. This came out like while I was in like my limbo period, basically, where the podcast was on hiatus due to multiple moves and looking for a job, and my
I
computer
don't know.
trying to self-destruct. So
So like fall? Was this like September? Something like that? I don't know. It was
well,
somewhere between fall and December.
I moved last summer, so it was somewhere between last summer and last
Oh,
fall. Yeah.
okay. So it could be almost a year. Probably not quite a year. Almost a year. Well, either way, you probably already watched it, and you probably just agreed with everything that we said,
I hope
including
so.
don't make Tendy the bad guy because it just ruins the show.
We'll be more timely on season 5 if all goes well.
Give or take a couple weeks. Sometimes, depending on when the show ends, and you know what,
Give or take a year.
give or take it, we'll get it in within the next year.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Well, I've been Dave.
And email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Yes, you can do that
I'm
too.
Brian still. I haven't changed.
That's good. Well, that's good to know. Well, anyway, live long and prosper, one and all. Our Star Trek sign off because we actually did a Star Trek episode.
Bye bye.